One let me whisper in your ear. Tell you how local sports doing around here. It was a summer of fun, let me tell you, son. Dawkins let him go, then she took to the road. Jones back on the field and keeping it real. His name is Fane Camden Board, just lame. As for the Steamers, boys went to the cleaners. Better luck next year, not Grenadier. Cause wait till you hear this show. Oh yeah, wait till you hear this show. Just wait till you hear this show. Season 3 is gonna be tough. Like N-E-N-C, 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 N-E-N-C. Can't get enough, can't get enough. Can't get enough, go on, start the show.
The best coverage of high school and college athletics in Northeast North Carolina begins now. This is NENC Sports Radio Show on WRVS 89.9.
We are back. I know you missed us. I know you did. The season premiere, season number 3 of the NENC Sports Radio Show. I'm Owen Hassel, sports editor for the Daily Advance, and as always, joined by Advance sports writer Malcolm Shields. We've done a lot of promos getting ready for this season. Got Facebook Live right at us right now, so a lot of pressure. But that's what happens when you're renewed for a third season.
Absolutely.
And thanks, as always, to WRVS 89.9 FM. The campus station of Elizabeth City State. It's WRVS, and it's your
community voice.
Where do we begin?
Football.
Where do we begin? I have a script of like 14 pages of stuff. It's been a few months.
Yes.
Let's just say we're going to have some fun, of course, always do, and hope you join us for this ride of athletics in our little proud corner of the state. For more on Northeastern North Carolina athletics, not that we don't put enough out there through all forms of media, follow us on Twitter. Also use the hashtag NENC Sports to keep the discussion rolling. You can follow us at NENC Sports. Then for me, I'm at ONOBX. Malcolm?
I'm at Malcolm_Shields.
There's more ways to stay involved with sports in Northeastern North Carolina. We're just going to blow people up.
Yes.
With all of this. Of course, that's in the form of a blog. Go to nencsports.wordpress.com for tidbits that aren't always in the Daily Advance, plus interviews and videos from various Northeastern North Carolina games. We've got interviews for you on this show. Predictions to make. Yes, the first week of high school football. Oh, my gosh.
Yes, excited.
Isn't it July? What is this? I thought we're in the middle of July right now, right?
Right.
Like, I just celebrated the fireworks yesterday. Right. Isn't that July 4th?
Yeah.
I'm getting my days, months mixed up. But first week of high school football, who we think the best teams are in the Northeastern Coastal and Coastal 10 conferences. Send all of your concerns to mshields@dailyadvance.com. That's MSHIELDS, because it's all his fault.
Yes, it always is.
It will be when these predictions are made. We're going to break down as much as time allows on this power-packed season premiere of the NENC Sports Radio Show.
WRVS 89.9, your community voice with Champion Cuts Barbershop and the Elizabeth City Police Department kick off the new school year with the Back to School Bash and Food Drive. Sunday, August 28th. Barbers from the community will give haircuts to kids beginning at 10 a.m. Bring the entire family out to Roebuck Stadium to enjoy food, music, and activities beginning at 2 p.m. Plus, free school supplies will be available for the youth while supplies last.
There are a lot of parents that's less fortunate that are not able to afford haircuts or school supplies. So I just think it's a wonderful idea, and I'm thanking the community for everyone because of this.
Don't miss the Back to School Bash and Food Drive, Sunday, August 28th. Learn more at 252-384-3622 and online at ecsu.edu/WRVS.
This is John Wheeler, head football coach of the Currituck County Knights, and you're listening to NENC Sports Radio Show on WRVS 89.9.
And why would we want to stop this feeling? It's high school athletics back again.
Yes.
Football season back again. Mm-hmm. Woo.
Woo.
There it is. But first, we got some intriguing summer news that we've been following. Just, if it wasn't one thing, it was another.
Yeah.
So the summer was a little more interesting than maybe we expected. Started out with the resignation of Elizabeth City State women's basketball coach LaQuanda Dawkins due to, as stated in a release, personal reasons. This was made official last week after reports from the Daily Advance. You, Malcolm Shields, covered this story of Dawkins cutting 7 or more players off of last year's team, including all Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association standouts, Breonna Jones and Amani Higgins, for reasons that aren't still exactly well known. None of the players were in bad academic standing or had any misconduct off the floor. So certainly came across as strange, Malcolm. It happened in April. We found out about it, finally tried to get some stuff as fact to be able to report on it. And when you do, in the more true services in August, she's out a couple days later. But it was okay in April.
Right.
What have you learned through covering this story?
It just seems like a lot of the players that you talk to now, former players, they weren't really given specific reasons. A lot of them will say it was about commitment, and Dawkins maybe was looking for players that kind of fit her scheme, and a lot of players felt like during the season that there was some tension between the coach and the players.
Yes, anytime you have a new coach,
right,
there's going to be some players that are disgruntled.
Right.
Some are going to leave. But it stood out when we heard the number 7.
Right.
Or more.
Right.
Because there were some walk-ons, some other people, if you want to consider them part of it as well. But we know it was at least 7.
Right.
It's just a large number.
Yeah.
Especially at a school that's just aching to get more students in. And you drop 7 like that without a strong backup plan to bring in more, because what we know is that only one player was signed.
That's correct. And that just one player was just signed, and a couple months outside of women's basketball season starting up in college. I mean, you're looking pretty rough right there. And I believe ECSU is at the minimum in terms of how many teams that you can have to be classified as Division II.
Yes, can't drop another sport. And I can do that math, Malcolm.
Yeah.
7 minus 1, that means you're still missing 6.
Yeah.
6 players you would need. And even then you would have 9 players on the team. That's not, you want to have at the minimum 10.
Right.
So you can scrimmage against each other at
Right.
practice. Really more like 12, 13. And right now, 3.
Yeah.
That we know of. Things as we know about ECSU can change in a heartbeat. Because right now the sports information director, April Emery, is leaving at the end of the month.
Correct.
Thought that ECSU was still looking for a softball coach. Then we see a notice on the sign saying, hey, sign up, and there's a person's name.
Yep.
Don't have the last name. Don't have the first name of the softball coach yet. But the last name is Burton. And it's a lot of different things going on, trying to get some stability in the athletic program. Seems to be a really difficult thing right now. So for this and more summer developments, we want to speed it up. We've got so much. It's time to check a new segment on this show, Really Stranger Things. This is, of course, where we find strange ways to tie in references to the hit Netflix series to the NENC. And right now, Malcolm, I'm going to test people to see if they've actually watched this show.
Nice.
It's one of my guilty summer pleasures. Stranger Things, great show. Renaming of the football-baseball field at Camden was approved and signs made for Scott Jones Field. Then taken away by Camden board because one person complained. Talk about an upside-down place. Perquimans is now with an interim coach in Aaron Burke after head football coach Elvin James had to retire days before the opener. Plus, that game has to start 30 minutes earlier than its scheduled 7 p.m. time Friday because there's a bank of lights that were damaged by lightning last weekend. Better hang some lights in Hertford when it gets dark. Antoine Excuses keeps coming out like Nancy, while his coaches end up like Barb. Figure it out if you can, but hey, that's why it's really Stranger Things. Did that one get through?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Good. So, yes, about Elvin James. He had some knee troubles in recent years. Malcolm, you saw him hobbling, right?
Yeah, even during preseason practices, I've been out there for Perquimans, and first practice, he was out there with crutches, and it seemed like it was something that, was kind of bothering him, and it looks like, got to a point where he had to, step away.
Because at the NENC High School Football Media Day, which I need to definitely give props to Clay Mercer, Randy Jones, and company at WRVS doing a fantastic job with that. The second annual event held at the ECSU Student Center at the end of July. Coach James was there. I didn't see any crutches.
No.
He seemed to be okay. I think he did. He usually has a brace on his knee.
Yes, he did.
I noticed that, but a lot of people. I mean, I need a brace on my knee probably. It bothers me once in a while. So didn't think much else of that. And then he seemed refreshed and said, "Hey, I am only going to coach one more year, though." He brought that out.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, Coach, didn't you tell us a while ago you wanted to keep that down?" No, I'll just go ahead and say it now. Fine. Last year coaching football, and we'll go ahead and retire. But this has sped up the process. Now he's got to have knee surgery, and obviously that puts you out for 4 or 5 weeks. And I mean, before you know it, that's at least half the season right there.
Right.
And probably better off to go ahead and break free. He will be on as an advisor still, helping out. I know one thing Coach Aaron Burke told me is that he will help out seniors trying to get a chance to play at the college level. He's got a lot of contacts at the college level, so that has been helpful. He's helped a few guys from Brookwomen's move on. One of those, Dayon Mallory,
Correct.
Now at Fayetteville State. So that's good. Well, as far as Coach James, the storyline, not the storyline, but the I guess his file at Brookwomen's, 3 seasons. A losing overall record each year. Of course, that means overall as well, but made the playoffs each year. And it's hard to forget the ankle bracelet gate saga from 2014. Nearly cost him his job when he allowed 2 players with a criminal record to play, one wearing an ankle monitoring bracelet. Now, is it fair to judge him by that, Malcolm? I mean,
I think, like how you said before, the file is part of the body of your work. I mean, when the program came in, I believe they had a really extended losing streak, and he was able to kind of get it turned around a little bit more competitive. And, whether you like it or not, it's part of, his time here at Brookwomen's.
You thought you were going to see some really solid things. When I mean solid things, winning records. When Brookwomen's hadn't won a game in a year and a half, it was James's first year. They go to Pasquotank. Pasquotank all kinds of excited, started out well, and Brookwomen's beats them on Pasquotank's field. Pasquotank never recovered from that. I don't think Pasquotank ever won again in that season. Their season was dead, and Brookwomen celebrated like it was the daggone Super Bowl. It was kids doing backflips. It was unreal.
Can't blame him.
And you saw Elvin James just look so unassuming coming out on the field before the game, like, "Oh, we'll just go play and try our best." I can't do a good Elvin James, but and after the game, and he's doing his little Elvin James quotes. Can't catch Skippy with a jar of peanut butter type of quotes. I wish I had other ones. Don't hang out on Doubt Street.
Yes.
That kind of stuff. So always good for a quote or two, and I've always gotten along with Coach James. I really have. Even with that whole saga, he talked to me.
Right.
And he's been on the show, and he has discussed it.
Absolutely.
He's been fine doing that. I understood where he was coming from to a degree, trying to keep the kids off the streets, but I think even he realizes needed to handle it in a different way, and you just can't allow those kids to play. It's unfortunate, but you can't do that. He was doing a bit of old school coaching that just unfortunately doesn't work in 2016 or 2014, even in this case. But Aaron Burke, I want to mention this guy. Story in Thursday's paper for the Daily Advance. Check that out. He's done about anything Brookwomen's has asked of him. He's coaching girls basketball this year now. Coach Brandon Young has left. He's now selling insurance.
Wow.
Out in the Hosky. I think he's doing pretty well with it. So he just got out of teaching altogether. So Aaron Burke's going to take over girls basketball. Sure. Taking out of the head boys basketball job. But hey, Coach Burke, will you stay as an assistant? Why, of course. Drive the bus. Where are the keys, sir? That's what he's done. He's always been there. And I just hope out of this latest commitment that he gets a little more respect because he's being bounced around like a pinball machine here. He really is. I don't think he had to take this. No, I don't want this intern job because he knows, okay, I'll say it, he's not getting the head job. He's not getting it. He's just not. Now, of course, if they win, if they have a winning record or do really well, I'll be eating my words, and I'll be happy to eat my words. So otherwise, though, I mean, you're talking about the land of baseball and softball for Women's. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah. They care about baseball, and then baseball. Well, then softball, baseball, softball. It just goes back and forth to the sport. So he's doing all the other work, and I hope they have a good season for him and obviously for the entire team But it'll be an interesting offseason to see who Perquimans finds as its new permanent head football coach. Action on the field. Okay.
Yes.
Whew. Real quick, preseason football list for both the Coastal 10 and Northeastern Coastal Conferences. Now, I'll say we tried to have that media list at the media day, all the votes combined. Clay killed us. He put his names out there. He put us right out there as the players. I'm like, give me a minute. I'll tabulate the votes.
I think I heard one kid go, "Hey, whoa, let me get a picture of that."
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
motivation.
I mean, usually it takes after the first week of season before I'm hated, but now it's going to happen before August.
Yeah.
Wow. I walked out of the room like my head down, and you don't see me. Everything's good now. I'm walking away, but no. So we're going to do it right on here anyway. What the heck? It's already out. So Malcolm, you go ahead and go first. Your preseason list, both conferences.
I guess in the spirit of the Olympics, I guess we'll go gold, silver, and bronze here. Start with the top three. So we'll start with Northeastern Coastal Conference. Gold, I'll go with Northeastern. Silver, I'm going to go with Edenton. And bronze, I'm going with Hertford County, followed by Bertie, then Pasquotank, then Currituck, then First Flight. For the Coastal 10, gold, I'm going to go with Plymouth. Gates, silver, and then Camden, I'm going to go bronze, followed by Perquimans, Manio, Columbia, Mattamuskeet, Creswell, and Hatteras. Asterisk.
Asterisk because Hatteras, yes. Don't know what the Hurricanes are going to have a team. If they do, how many games will they play? They can't compete for a conference title. They won't get into the playoffs because they won't play a full conference schedule. They're just trying to be out there and play.
Yep.
Give them credit for that.
Yep.
So you got yours, I got mine. Northeastern Coastal, of course, Northeastern, until they're knocked off. Top dog there. I had a little bit of trouble with Edenton and Hertford County. I gave the edge to Edenton. They've got a little bit more experience back compared to Hertford County. I know we got Jaquari Roberson for Hertford County, just committed to Wake Forest, a great wide receiver. But new quarterback for Hertford County. How much is that going to play, and how many catches he gets? Obviously, you just throw the ball anywhere near him.
Yeah.
He's going to make a play. But how is that going to work out? So I gave Edenton the edge there. So Northeastern, Edenton, Hertford County. I got the fighting Chris McGee's fourth, Pasquotank.
There you go.
And I think he'll make really good use of Michael and Marcus Cowell. He's going to get them on the outside more, let them make a move. And Avion James, new quarterback, I realize he's not going to be as good of a passer as Jamon Oatman. I see a lot of plays. I think you've seen him too in practice. They roll him out. They give him time, as much time as possible to throw. If not, he's as much of a threat to run the ball. And I think Chris McGee is going to use him almost more like another tailback than anything else. If you can get those guys going, the schedule, the early part of the non-conference schedule is not bad for Pasquotank. It gives them the opportunity to have a winning record going into conference play, as Pasquotank did last year.
Correct.
But this year, not as much talent with the Panthers. Last year, very much underachieved. Didn't even make the playoffs. That was ridiculous. That shouldn't have gone down that way. Kendrick Parker hurt, the whole thing.
Right.
But Pasquotank fourth. Bertie fifth. I think Coach Grantley Mazelle's trying to build something there and get love for his home because he's a Bertie guy. But there's still a lot to sort through. I don't know how ready he'll have the Falcons. They have a bye week the first week. How tough is that?
That's rough.
You have to watch everybody else play the first Friday of the season, and you have a bye. Your open week is the first week. Who did that? Play somebody. To his credit, I mean, he's coming in kind of late. Probably couldn't schedule anybody.
Right.
He did bring in a scrimmage. I guess someone else is not playing the first week. He did bring in a scrimmage for Thursday, but that's not the same, man. How tough is that? And you do get the scout. You do get the scout, I guess, but that's about it. I think it's worse to have a bye the first week than the last week of the season almost. So Bertie fifth, Currituck sixth, First Flight seventh. First Flight never wants to show up for media day. First Flight's last. Sorry, not sorry. That is. Coastal 10, Plymouth's the defending 1A state champion. I'm not going to mess with a good thing there. Coach Robert Cody keeps it real. We got 4 plays. We'll run them. we're just working on tackling now. He's real down low with everything, but it'll be Plymouth first. I like some things I've seen out of Gates in a few workouts. Definitely have speed. I'm going to give Gates that slight edge over Camden like you did, even with Scott Jones returning to the Bruins. Manio 4th, Burquemin's 5th. And see, I would have probably had Burquemin's 4th, Manio 5th. Now with the coaching shift, I don't know the mindset.
Right.
It's difficult. Talking to DeJuan Williams from Burquemin's, even he said, I don't like the way this happened.
Right.
I don't necessarily like the circumstances. I think we'll be fine, but you can tell it's making players kind of I'm not sure. And a couple days earlier, he tweets out, "Everybody come to the game Friday at 7." The game's at 6:30.
Yeah.
They weren't told. I had to write him and say, "Hey, do you know it's at 6:30?" Like, what do you mean? 6:30. He says, "Is that true?" I was like, "Yes."
Wow.
Did not know. They should know before us.
Yeah.
I mean, I like getting to know first. That's part of our job, but players need to know that first.
Yeah.
So, Manio, Burquemin's, and then Columbia, Creswell, Mattamuskeet, Cape Adders. There we go. Preseason Player of the Year in the Coastal 10. I'm going to go with Samir Cooper from Plymouth, sophomore quarterback. Didn't have to do much last year because, well, you had talent that ran. They could run the ball quite a bit. He still passed for 1,021 yards. Don't get this, just 45 completions.
Not bad.
That's like 20-some yards a completion. And that's a run-oriented offense.
Yeah.
And yet here he is still getting his. Mm-hmm. So why not go with one of the best athletes on the preseason number 1 team? That's not going to hurt many people's feelings. But the preseason Player of the Year for the Northeastern Coastal, we're all high on J.R. Walker. So is Duke. They gave him an offer this summer.
Yeah.
He'll play some quarterback. The Northeastern sophomore also plays some wideout, defensive back. There's also wide receiver and Wake commit, Jaquari Roberson. We talked about him, Hertford County. But again, the new quarterback, how does that affect his stats? But I'm going to go with the wild card. After watching some scrimmages, I'm going to go with Walker's 10th grade teammate, Trevion Freshwater.
Oh, wow.
I'm going Freshwater. I tell you, I've been impressed.
I've seen the video.
Kids don't want to hit him. They don't want to get near him.
Yeah.
You saw that video I posted.
Yeah, Eddie George.
He made a move on a kid. He just did a quick juke, very quick, and that kid slid like 4 yards. Yeah. Ankles busted, the whole thing.
Man.
It was a tough sight.
Mm.
I felt bad putting that video up for that kid, but it was nastified by Mr. Freshwater. So Freshwater, so clean.
Yeah.
So that's my Player of the Year because I think he'll get a lot of touches with the ball.
Yeah.
They've got to give him more touches with the ball.
Yeah.
Well, I'm watching it like you are, going, why didn't he get more touches even as a freshman?
Absolutely.
And the kid looks 24 as it is. I mean, we gotta see that birth certificate.
Yeah.
I mean, he said he was born in '87. Something just ain't going right here. All right.
Yeah.
So, Malcolm, your picks.
For the Coastal 10, I'm gonna go with Robert Walker out of Gates County. Talented wide receiver. The way Gates passed the football last year, they were in a shootout with Camden last year. I think this will be the year for this young man to step forward and surprise some people. And for the Northeastern Coastal, I'm gonna go with Corey Cherry out of Bertie.
Yeah,
running back. You got to think with Coach Mizell coming in. They run the ball a lot at South Creek. You got to expect that he's gonna be the feature guy. So he's my pick for preseason Player of the Year out of NCC.
And a good kid to talk to. I got to interview him during media day, and he didn't mind throwing it out there. Northeastern, we're coming after you. We're coming after you. I said, you realize this is going to be on social media. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. It's Northeastern. We want you.
It's good to have that confidence.
Absolutely. And had a great year last year. Mm-hmm. He will be key, incredibly key for Bertie to get back to being a little bit of that Bertie again,
right?
Which would only help the Northeastern Coastal Conference.
Absolutely.
Because they've just had some turnover with coaches and the whole thing. It's been a difficult few years for a once very proud Falcons program.
This is Coach Spencer from the Columbia Wildcats, and you're listening to NENC Sports Radio Show on WRVS 89.9.
Malcolm Shields, Owen Hassel, NENC Sports Radio Show, the season premiere, the third season. Boy, we came from the bottom, now we're here. That's a different song. Hey, it's time to bring back one of the favorites. Come on now.
Jump on, jump on, get on me, all right.
Paul Winslow Way, Hemingway Cafe, Tommy Long Drive, Jerry Cahoon Field, Lucian Griffin Gymnasium, Jerry McGee Weight Room, Jimmy Catfish Hunter Park. Got goosebumps right there. All facilities at Northeastern North Carolina schools named for Northeastern North Carolina people who made a difference with their time. I said time because that's what youth want more than anything. Our time and mentoring. That's made Scott Jones special to Camden County. His time and effort to build youth as a teacher and a coach has spanned more than 20 years. How could there ever be an issue with naming the school's football/baseball field after him? Supporters already had it approved by the spring athletic banquet, but because one family gets mad because of their own naming fight, they helped stop this one. Hey, fight your own battles. Scott Jones came back to coach football because the county couldn't hire anyone else. Yes, he was willing, he was able, he's excited to do it, but he dropped a full-time gig after retiring from the school system to do this. Full-time job. He sacrificed for the youth. We ain't talking Donald Trump sacrifices. He sacrificed for the youth. Again, he basically took money out of his own pocket to coach football. If Camden didn't have a $200,000 shortfall, thus having trouble putting another PE teacher at the high school, for example, it might have kept Chris McGee. Instead, he got a deal to coach and teach at another school. Made sense to do so. Certainly can't blame Coach McGee for that. The board has far bigger concerns. You got this budget shortfall like I just mentioned. You got outdated facilities. And you got next to no tax base to draw from. At last week's board meeting, they hinted at putting something on the referendum to increase property taxes to help with education. That's illegal, by the way. Nice try. But we're going to stop what many in Camden want? To give Scott Jones a needed thank you and name the field he's put his blood, sweat, and tears into after him? No. Scott Jones, he doesn't want it. He's embarrassed by the whole situation, how it's blown up in the past couple months. He doesn't want it, but Camden needs it. He is their Paul Winslow, their Lucian Griffin, Jimmy Hunter, Jerry McGee, Jerry Cahoon, Carolyn Rogers, Hunk Daniels, Donnie Simpson, and much more. Camden board, you have been spoiled with Scott Jones. Now you have spoiled this moment for the many he's impacted to make Camden a better place. And you did it behind closed doors like cowards. Come on now.
Jump on, jump on.
When it comes to the Northeastern defense, there's a 3-year starter ready to be the leader in Timon Stallings. Let's hear more from the senior.
Talking to Timon Stallings, Northeastern defensive lineman. It's the Eagles. Expected to win each and every year. It's like if you don't win 10 games in a year, something's wrong. How do you keep in your mind those expectations and to make sure things are the way they're supposed to be, I guess, at Northeastern?
Well, really, from our freshman year, the seniors, well, not really the seniors, the upperclassmen that's above you, they just teach you what they learn. So it's basically like you learn something, then you teach people under you. So the way that you come to practice, that's what everybody else has went through. That's what everybody teaches you. So it's basically like that's all we know. So it's basically like normal to us.
I think of one person that y'all lost on defense that'll probably be a big loss is Clarence Jones last year. Everyone talks about his offense and rushing the ball, but on defense, he seemed to have like 400 tackles at linebacker. I mean, how difficult is that to lose someone like Clarence Jones, and who's going to fill that void? Are you going to be one of those guys to fill that?
Well, yeah, Clarence played. I think he played stabber. So we have two strong stabbers. We have Travion Freshwater and Malik Combs coming to staff. So yeah, they should take the role. And Clarence came up in big games, big times that we need him. He came through, and I'm gonna really miss him. The defense can miss him.
Last season, obviously, it's almost again, not a good season if you don't at least make the Eastern Finals. Yeah. You didn't do that last year. Lost to Kinston in the game you had, seemed like in the bag, 13-0 lead. How much of a bad taste does that leave in your mouth?
Man, it's like waking up in the morning and not brushing your teeth. Bad taste. Going to practice every day, walking down the street, going in a grocery store, everybody talking about the same thing. At one point, you lose a game, and like Coach Moore was talking about earlier, it's come from not finishing the play, actually. Coming from a field goal that we couldn't even get off. So 1 point away from the state championship. That could hurt for a whole year, and you have to wait a whole another year just to get back.
How does Northeastern get back? Other than just winning all your games to get to that point.
Oh, yeah, we start from January. We work hard. Our seniors there, juniors there, sophomores. The freshmen can't come until the Monday after we get out of school. But when the freshmen come, they pick up where everybody else is. Everybody just work hard. Everybody just follow their leader, follow the coaches. Just do what you're supposed to do, and it's easy.
I've been able to follow you the last 3 or 4 years, and you've matured quite a bit. I knew early on you didn't mind talking a little smack. On social media, maybe accidentally hurting somebody, things like that. Where have you learned from that to okay, I'm excited. It's entertaining in a way. It's fun, but they keep it in perspective.
Yeah, I mean, over the years, I just learned, like, okay, I could do so and so, but just don't be so arrogant and cocky about it, and just stay humble. That's the main key. Just stay humble. Good things come to good people. Not always talking will get you what you want. So. And it won't always prove a point either. So.
You got 2 guys who are sophomores that seem to be getting a lot of the talk in the offseason, Travion Freshwater and J.R. Walker or William Walker. What makes those 2 guys special, and why are they getting so much love, you think, as just rising sophomores?
I mean, the 2 freshmen that's now rising sophomores, they work hard. That's why you get that when you work hard. Actually, you work hard, it pays off. And the team love them. Obviously, we need them, and they're going to be a big factor. And, 2 great players at a young age. That's pretty good, yeah.
Hertford County, Bertie, a lot of the teams at Media Day were not afraid to say, we're coming after you, Northeastern. We're coming after you. We want a piece of the Eagles. And I'm not trying to rile you up too much, but you heard it for yourself. And not so much in a disparaging way, but they want what you have.
Well, that's normal. We get that a lot every week in the conference. No team lets up on us. No team coming from Bertie, Carrotuck, Passeltine, Edenton. No team lets up. Everybody gives their all when it comes to Northeastern, and that's in any sport actually, not just football. So when we go against the team, we don't look down on them. We prepare for them just like we would prepare for Lake Taylor or Southwest Escombe, Kingston. We prepare for them just like anybody else, and we don't look down on them. We just prepare.
Is Hertford County back to being Hertford County? For football, that is. Coach Terrence Saxby and company had the Bears back at that upper level last year and nearly knocked off Northeastern twice. And in Elizabeth City, Malcolm, the video?
Yes.
Can we go to the tape?
Yes.
Just go to nenCsports.wordpress.com. Look up. Go back in the archives to, November?
November. Mm-hmm.
You'll find it.
Yes.
It's the most watched video we've ever had on the blog.
Yes, still to this day.
And I think every once in a while someone else watches it. It's probably people in a hosky.
Yes.
So, now led by Wake Forest commit Jacory Roberson, will Hertford County take that next step? With the answer is Coach Saxby.
Hertford County's got tradition in football. But you feel like you've had to rebuild that tradition piece by piece. Is this that breakthrough year for Hertford County where they can make the run when it used to be making a run in the Northeastern Coastal Conference? Not a big deal. Hertford County's won a few of those. But now that's been – there are other teams taking that from you.
Right. And, well, to be honest, when I was hired, me and sitting down talking with the athletic director and the principal, we knew the situation. We knew what I was getting into that first year. And the idea was it was a process. And, first year, let's just try to be competitive. Second year, the plan was to have a shot, and we felt like we had a shot. And by this year, we felt like with the group that we have that this could be the year for us. And we're hoping that this year turns the table. I think me and my staff, along with the AD, we've built the program. to the point where it's going to be one that where we can compete year in and year out in the Northeastern Coastal Conference.
It seemed like last year you were so close to breaking that quote-unquote ceiling, especially when it comes to Northeastern. We all know about the playoff game, the second round, and that last play that was it a catch in bounds, out of bounds, the debate that happened over that in the video that was shown. Do you use that as motivation for you guys? Do you tell them just to forget it, or what?
It's funny that you say that because it's a situation where you want them to forget about it, but they can't, and they constantly talk about it. And, one thing about it is for us, it built confidence for us to let us know that we can play with Northeastern. And, and let's be honest, they've been at the top of this conference for the last 4 or 5 years, I think, here and there with Currituck, getting in it 1 year with them. And we feel like that it's, we honestly feel like it's our time to win the conference this year. And not taking anything away from them, I know they're going to be a very good football team. They got a great head coach who's kind of stranglehold this conference, recently. But at some point, you have to step up to the plate and feel like that it's your time. And we believe it's our time this year. The kids have worked really, really hard all summer long. And our motto is this year, but for us, it's be better than everybody, and that's whether it's on the field, on the practice field, on game days, in the classroom, in the community. We want to be better than everybody else. And our kids have bought into it, and they understand that. And that's what, hopefully that's going to run us, help us get to the Northeastern Coastal Conference title this year.
Elizabeth City State University sails into Rocky Mount September 17th for the 19th annual Down East Viking Football Classic. The Mighty Vikings will battle the Tigers of Morehouse College. Kickoff 4 p.m. at Rocky Mount Athletic Complex. Get tickets and more information online at ECSUVikings.com or contact the University Cashier Station at 252-335-3207. Hear the game live on WRVS 89.9.
This is Edenton coach Paul Hoggart, and you're listening to NENC Sports Radio Show on WRVS 89.9.
I feel like we haven't missed a step.
Nope. Right in the groove.
Right? Once again, like I said, it's like July 4th and then now August 19th. Am I right on the days? August 19th, first day of the football season. That's right. This Friday. Well, NENC Twitter shouts.
Your tweets go here. Twitter shouts.
This one from Jerry Hall at JFly69, the number 69, not spelled out. Dallas Hall once again gets no press from Coach James. # wish we had a coach. Now, keep it in perspective. This tweet came out, I believe, I want to say early August.
Okay.
So a little bit of timeline for you. To Elvin James's credit, he did note his junior quarterback in the team preview this week, featured in the Daily Advents. And one outlet had Hall as its preseason player of the year in the Coastal 10. Malcolm, I'm a little surprised by that. It's no disrespect to Dallas Hall, great kid, but you'd almost think that spot would be a cinch for Plymouth's top player.
Right.
It just kind of came, it blindsided me.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's the case, then good. Breakout year for Dallas Hall would only mean great things for the interim coach, Aaron Burke, and the Pirates. Here's another Twitter shout. We got double the duty. It's a season premiere. We got lots of stuff here. This is from Camden baseball pitcher Tyler Beal. He just graduated, of course, from Camden. Saying goodbye to NENC in Camden is going to be tough. Going to do my best to rep NENC sports and NENC in college baseball. Of course, Tyler Beal, the 2015 Area Player of the Year. He's headed to play at Methodist. He was also on the All-Area team this past year as well. We encourage all of you to tweet about NENC sports. Yours might get put on the air. Just post your thoughts or questions. We'll try to answer them. Use the hashtag NENC sports. I do want to clarify one thing about the Camden board. They came back into open session. Mm-hmm. Check this out. Had a closed session for their regularly scheduled meeting, got out of it, had the open session, adjourned and went back into closed session. Didn't finish the closed session until just after midnight.
Wow.
Opened it back up. No one's around now. Everyone's left.
Right.
Opened it back up, and it had to be the only people there were them. So it's essentially like closed session again. And said, okay, let's vote on it. We're going to vote for the naming policy, and we're going to reject the athletic club, booster club, to have the field named after Scott Jones. And they did that at 12:10 a.m.
Not a good look.
It's not a good look. This was already going to be a touchy situation, whether you were for the naming for him or not. It was going to be a touchy situation no matter what you decided. Don't make it look like that in the process. You're only making it worse. So that's my clarification on that. Just a really sketch situation. Football predictions. All right.
NENC Picks of the Week.
Okay. Are we excited? I'm putting my hands up in the air for some reason. South Creek at Burquemmons. We already talked about Coach Burke coming back. South Creek's had Burquemmons' number the last couple of years, not just had the numbers, had the number of Burquemmons. They have had all the stats,
yes,
all the numbers, and winning easily. I don't see anything different here because I think the team is going to be a little discombobulated now. I'm going with South Creek.
Yeah, I'm about to go with South Creek.
Edenton at Southwest Edgecombe. This game last year was going to be that 50-50 game. And it turned out that way. Fourth quarter, it's still anybody's contest. Southwest finds a way, pulls it out, and ends up having a good year. Got to the Eastern Finals of 2A where Kinston beat them and got destroyed by Shelby in the championship, all that stuff. But Southwest had another solid year. Edenton, it took a while. I think that game kind of stuck with them a couple of weeks. Had some injuries from that game. I think Luke Hogger was one of them at quarterback. And it seemed like from there, they were going to be playing from behind. And kudos to Coach Paul Hoggard and Wes Matera and the staff for keeping the faith, winning a huge game at Booker T. Washington in Virginia. No one thought that was going to happen. Surviving up there probably saved the season from being a losing season. Ended up finishing at least 6-6, respectable, losing in the first round of the playoffs. So I say that because this game just seems so crucial once again. Now it's in Pine Tops. Gosh. I should have put this one last so I could get the other ones through really quick. I'm going to go with Edenton. I might as well just go with the home team, or in this case, the road team. I think a lot of players coming back, Keemon Bailey, Deshaun Hall, that's a 1-2 rushing attack that a lot of teams in this area are not going to have. I'm excited about that. Aces.
Like you mentioned before, Southwest Edgecombe had a great year, got to the Eastern Final. They had a lot of upperclassmen in that team that produced for them last year. A lot of those guys are gone. How they're going to replace that, it's going to be a tough, way to see how that goes with the first game of the year. And Eads bringing back a lot of key guys. Coach Paul Harger talked about how this team worked out during the offseason, improving strength and training we're really going to see in week 1. And I'm going to say, with Edenton's experience coming back, I'm going to give the edge to the Aces.
Plymouth at Northeastern. You were at this game last year, Malcolm. Yes. I tested you to see if you really wanted to be a reporter here. I said, you're going to Plymouth first week. You said, that's no problem. I said, good. Because just good. And halftime, Plymouth's up 7-6.
Yeah, this is a close game.
41-7.
40-7.
40-7 was the final. So really, it was a matter of Northeastern numbers. I think that's going to be the same case this year. I think it's going to play out almost exactly the same for about a quarter and a half. Plymouth's going to fight and be scrappy and be right in that ball game. And then the Eagles are going to pull away. Probably a similar score. So I'm going with the Eagles.
Yeah, going to have to go with the Eagles as well. But I think the biggest thing that I guess people want to see out of that game is who's going to be the starting quarterback.
Yes.
Is it going to be DeMar? Is it going to be JR? I think that's a lot of the intrigue that's been building up this whole summer. So we're going to get a first peek of that. And whoever the quarterback is, they're going to get a good test against a solid Plymouth team.
Yeah. Well, we already know the starter, DeMar Walker.
Yes.
Good job, Antonio Moore, coach of the Eagles. DeMar Sutton or J.R. Walker. Yes, we will find out Friday. Manio at Currituck. These two teams have been playing since, Newt Rottney was coaching. I don't know. It's been a long time. These two teams have tangled in usually the first game of the year. And respect between the schools is there. But, gosh, Currituck needs this win, I think, more than Manteo. I mean, everyone wants to win first, but, yeah, we get all that. I'm just talking about who probably needs it more. Yeah. Because Currituck, and Coach John Wheeler's my boy. Love Coach Wheeler. He knows it's a bit of a hot seat right now for him, back-to-back losing seasons, and losing at home to Manteo would not help matters. First game of the year when you've got a number of players back, a ton of seniors. Ryan Edwards is going to be a 3-year starter at quarterback. You got Malik Mercer back there, Ryan Alex, Brian Meredith, tall kid that was hurt most of last year. He's back. You've got a lot of nice pieces here. Have the statement win right now. Go ahead and make a statement here against the Redskins. I think Currituck does it.
Yeah, like all the things that you mentioned as well, I think, Currituck should get the win. Also, Isaiah McCarher, all-area player last year, part of a defense with also Smith Hammer coming back. The experience is there for Currituck. The way the game went last year, you got to think the Knights are going to be motivated, and I'm going to go with Currituck.
Northside at Creswell. Northside. Now, if Coach Wayne Rogers brings out the secret weapon that he keeps talking about, the female trainers. Hey, if you read anything about Media Day the last 2 years, I'm not saying anything that hasn't already been said about Wayne Rogers. And should I leave it at that? I don't know.
We encourage people to read the daily events.
We do.
Yes.
It's in there. DailyAdvance.com as well.
Yes.
Look in the archives. Media Day. Lots of coverage.
Yes.
So, still Northside. First flight at Dixon. I'm going to go with Dixon because, once again, maybe I'm just upset because we don't see the Nighthawks at Media Day. Mm-hmm. That's it.
I'm going to go with Dixon.
Hertford County at Gates. Ooh, okay. I mean, we got two teams that are right there. It's like they could both be unexpected champions of their conferences. They could. Mm-hmm. If you had to pick somebody else, you might pick these teams, and those would not be bad picks. I think Hertford County would be a little too much for Gates. Numbers, once again. So I'll go with the Bears.
When you got a Division I wide receiver, also plays defensive back in Roberson, you got to go with Hertford County. It's gonna be interesting to see if the quarterback is going to be DeAndre Beverly for Hertford County, just see how he starts to find his way in that role. I'm gonna go with Hertford County.
Man, Mesquite at Columbia. Columbia lost Andre Brown, who about single-handedly beat Clemens last year in that overtime classic. But still, with enough numbers, and Rayshawn Spencer is going to have enough there to beat Man Mesquite. So get the Wildcats the edge.
Go with Columbia.
Now, Pasquotank at Camden. Kind of the premier game. Yeah. You got the storylines. Writes itself, folks. Mm-hmm. Coach Chris McGee, first game as a coach at a new school, and now he's coaching against his old school. Mm-hmm. He's just glad that school is not in session. So his wife has to hear John as a Camden teacher about how Camden going to beat that Pasquotank butt.
Oh boy!
Right? Don't have to hear that because school's not in yet at both of these counties for another week. Now you got Scott Jones back for Camden to take his spot, and now the field is not named after Scott Jones. Oh boy! These players who love that coach, they love that man. They're going to be fired up. They're going to have probably signs out there saying it's Scott Jones Field anyway. If you're Pasquotank, you're thinking, great, another sign of motivation for them. We didn't need that. But there's motivation for Pasquotank after they got curb stomped last year on their own field. That was absolute humiliation from pillar to post, got beat up. Clock was running in the third quarter. I mean, Camden just put it to them, Marcus Joyner and company. No Marcus Joyner now. He's at Old Dominion. I'm rambling because I don't know what to really pick. I'm going to go with Camden because of the psychological edge. And Jones is going to run that option. And will Pasquotank be disciplined enough to stop it? I think when it comes down to it, no. But it's going to be an incredibly close game.
That's been the buzzword around Pasquotank. New culture, new mindset, discipline. I talked with Dylan Halfacre leading up to the game. They said that game is in the back of their mind, the way they got beat last year. And, with the Cal twins and Avion James at quarterback, I think Pasquotank can do enough and make enough plays defensively to eke out a win on the road.
They couldn't make enough plays defensively last year to stop a Pop Warner team. That was the problem. Yeah. Have they evolved so much in really a short time period since McGee took the job that they could do it? I don't know. I think the jury's out on that. Mm-hmm. It's not much time. I mean, McGee's got to change a lot in the culture. Right. And that doesn't happen overnight. I think it will, but I don't see it happening Friday night. Okay. Well, we had some volleyball. We've had soccer. We've had girls tennis. We'll talk a little volleyball this week. Macy Keaton and Northeastern Volleyball took a 3-set win at Camden. Lady Bruins still working with a relatively new team. There's some returners, J.C. Staples, Bianca Berry, but the defending Coastal 10 champs took it a little bit tough there in that match and really took it tough in the first set against Currituck on Wednesday. Currituck swept Camden 3-0, so Camden gets swept back-to-back against Northeastern Coastal Conference teams. That first set was 25-5, Currituck. Yeah. So it's going to be a little process for Coach Summer Sawyer as well, but I do believe Camden will be just fine in that conference, and you're going to be talking about Camden and Perquimans again for volleyball supremacy in that league. Malcolm, you got to see what that's all about. Yes. It surprised you how much energy and excitement
it was definitely
those games.
Definitely hype. Even when I got there for the JV game, energy was just at the same level. So
it makes it so great. Like that. That's why we do what we do. We love to be around this. It's things just like that. Perquimans beat Edenton 3-0. Edenton won their first volleyball match of the year a day earlier against Gates. And then Perquimans has never played First Flight before in volleyball and beat them in 5 sets. Wow. At First Flight. That was a huge win for Coach Christy Thatch and the program for some confidence. And Perquimans is still a pretty young team. Casey Copley, Samantha Midget, McCrae Knapp. All 3 of them will be back next year. And the year after that.
Yes. Yes.
So there's going to be you got a nice group there. Megan Denson. You've also got Jensen Hunter. A number of players that she's never Coach Thatch has never really been blessed with a lot of height on her team. But she always has her players playing so scrappy defensively. They go after it. They do whatever they can for that ball to not touch the ground. And it frustrates teams after a while. They get in teams' heads after a while. Mm-hmm. But they won this match against First Flight 23-25, 25-18, 18-25. So they were down 2-1. And they come back and win 25-22 and 15-7. McCrae Knapp, 29 assists, 16 service points. Casey Copley, 21 kills. Samantha Midget, 15 kills. Megan Denson, 9 kills. Jensen Hunter, 16 assists. We talked about Jim Catfish Hunter. Jensen Hunter, related to the late, great Hall of Fame pitcher. Wow. First ever meeting for him, and that's what Women's does. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
And we're going to be with you. We're going to be with you every step of the way. That's all I'm saying. This is the season premiere. Mm-hmm. This is it. We've done this. The first show. And now we got to close it. Remember always to follow us on Twitter at NENC Sports. And I'm at ONOBX, Malcolm.
At Malcolm_Shields.
As for the latest sports updates, as well as pick up a copy of the Daily Advance newspaper. We also said dailyadvance.com. We almost always go beyond our radio time, so check nencsports.podomatic.com for a podcast version of the show that has it all. For Owen Hassel, Malcolm Shields, Clay Mercer, Randy Jones, and so many that make this show possible. We're back.
Yes.
We're not going anywhere. It's the NENC. And don't you see,
athletes live here.
NENC Sports Radio Show is produced at the WRVS-FM studios on the campus of Elizabeth City State University.